Alright friends, welcome back to Tactical Enlightenment. You're watching another episode of our Expert Tactics series, showing some of the most difficult battles I've faced in my campaign, and then deploying complicated and unique tactics to overcome these formidable challenges. Alright friends, welcome back to another episode of Tactical Enlightenment, your YouTube channel that is dedicated to helping you get better at Bannerlord through the use of advanced field tactics. In this episode, we're going to have another battle against the Khuzait. This is probably one of the most requested episodes I get on my channel because a lot of people struggle to deal with these massive amounts of horse archers. The very first thing I'm going to do before we meet them is I'm going to add a bunch of archer characters to my army group. I had just previously given some armies in other areas of the map, a bunch of my troops, and so we're heading to one of our local garrisons here, and quite frankly I'm stripping it of most of the ranged troops to get my ratio closer to about 150 to 100 of archers to infantry, if that makes sense. I want about 1.5 archer for every foot troop, or if you prefer, three archers for every 2 foot troops in battle against the Khuzait. Just kind of sorting through here. I want to make sure that I don't have too many low-level troops. Of course, I don't know the exact size of the Khuzait force here, but lately in my campaign, the forces have been enormous. I've been facing armies over 2,000 on a regular basis, and I expect this to be similar. We're also going to take some food. I keep a lot of castles. I keep food stocked there, so that I can add food to those castles once they are relieved of the siege. That way the peasants aren't starving. That way I win re-election, right? And that's not Khuzait, that is Sturgia. Okay. I was sure it said, yeah, it says Khuzait. So Khuzait is sieging, but Sturgia also has a fucking huge army here. Those who've watched the channel know that Sturgia has been like an uneasy ally or uneasy neutral kingdom for a while, but we're back at war, and I see what's happening here. We have both. We have Sturgians and Khuzait. Holy fuck, there's a lot of troops up here. I don't know how many Khuzait that is, but there are at least 2 different armies of Sturgians, and that's another Khuzait army traveling to Revel to besiege. So the Sturgians, these fucks are attacking Revel, and Khuzait is sending a huge force. What other reinforcements do I have? Let me see. And see if I can gather any other armies. I'm not gathering Castor, that fuck. Okay, so this is pretty much it. And we're going to be facing this force of Khuzait. It looks like it's at least 3,000. Got an injured horse, we'll have to change that out. And I'm out of the fastest horse, so we'll roll with the Tayal horse. But just a glance right there, that looks like at least 3,000 Khuzait and maybe more. So this is probably going to be an epic battle. In battles like this in the past against the Khuzait, you know, we've taken advantage of the landscape, we've positioned at the back of the map. But I think in this battle we won't do that. Even though I'm at a perilous point in my campaign, obviously with the Sturgeon sieging, I think we're gonna approach the Khuzaits and try to fight them in the open field. I do have reinforcements coming, so we'll see how it goes. The last time we fought against the Khuzaits, it was a very close victory, and we had some advantages of terrain. So it's hard to know how it's going to go. I think I know the battlefield that this is going to be on, but then again, sometimes it puts you in a strange spot or something unexpected, so we'll see how it goes. None of these other forces are going to be able to reach us in time, so this is what we have here. This 2,100 plus whatever's in the garrison is what we're going to have. That's all we're going to have to face this gigantic Khuzait force. This city rather, is way too important for me to just walk away. And I'm not even sure if I would win if we went inside the keep. It might actually be more difficult because they have so many archer types. So we're going to try to fight this out in the plains here. Look at this fucking guy. This is their king, or their Khan, I guess, Tochi. He has 238 marksmen. So this guy, years ago, I used a mod that enhanced a lot of the heroes for some of the different sizes, and obviously he's heavily enhanced with that large of an army. I've seen armies of 400 or 500, but not 700. So our inventory is good. We're wearing our best armor here. I'm going to be on horse a lot of this battle, so it doesn't matter if I'm a little slowed down. We're just going to have to do the best we can here. How many fucking troops is this? 5,200. Okay. So I'm going to lower the player damage. I know some people prefer I play on normal player damage, but against such a huge force of Khuzait, I don't think I'll be able to stay mounted if I don't play with half player damage. And obviously the rest of our troops are on normal damage, so this is still extremely difficult. We'll just put these guys onto the 8th Corps. But I see an opportunity here, tactically, to take advantage of this ridge. People have watched my channel a lot will know a tactic I call a peekaboo ridge, effectively where you position ranged units, most of your troops on the other side of this ridge, and then as the enemy comes over the ridge, you pummel them with ammunition, right? You pummel them with arrows and bolts. The other thing I can do with this ridge is I can use this to sort of isolate and trap their huge horse archer group. So the 2nd Cavalry, 2nd Cav, those guys will be my attacking Cav, and the 3rd Cavalry, those will be the ones that I use as both defensive walls to prevent the enemy from pouring over this ridge, but also to sort of create a log jam, to create a traffic jam where they can't get over and retreat. Like if you've played against Khuzait at all, you know the horse archers kind of circle around, and then at some point they sort of head back to their forces, right? Once you've sort of done some damage to them, once you've sort of targeted in on them, they retreat, right? Very appropriately. Well, we're going to try to prevent that. So I've got my 3rd Cav right here. They're in a big long shield wall. We're going to put the 7th down here just to counter their Cav on the south part of the map here. I've got my troops on hold fire, and what we're going to effectively try to do is ambush their horse archers if and when they come over. We'll use the 2nd Cav to attack them. Let me just give you an overview of kind of what we're doing. So 3rd Cav there, I'm doing this a little bit more often at the request. 7th Cav kind of holding that bottom part there, preventing some attacks. And this ridge, right? The enemy has to come over this ridge to attack us. And when they do, you know, we have like 60 Battanian Fiend champions right there. We're going to unleash hell. So we're outnumbered worse than 2 to 1, almost 3 to 1. Here comes their huge fucking wave of horse archers. I think I'll name this episode the Attack of the Golden Horde or something like that, because this is what you would face when Genghis Khan was rolling across Eastern Europe in the 1300s. Look at them all. Fire, let's rip these boys up. So see, they poke their heads over that ridge and they just get mass murder, right? It's 60, 70 archers just letting loose. And what we're going to try to do is sort of add to the carnage, beat them back, and take advantage when they retreat. Now right there, that was just a quick intro. Right? What I want is them to fully commit. I got myself jammed up here in cavalry. I want them to fully commit, and then we'll use more of a trapping process. See the 7th down there? That's beautiful. They're going to slow down a lot of the enemy cav that's pouring through there. Some 60 IQ move by their commander to just charge my little cav division there. All right, here they come. So you see them, they're just pouring around that bend. So it's going to happen kind of quick. I'll freeze it if there's a good opportunity. But what I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to slide the 3rd Cavalry. Oh, they're right on the ridge here. If they commit, if they get down onto our side, I'm going to bring the 3rd Cav down on the ridge behind them. And then we'll have our 2nd Cav with the 7th supporting attack their main body. So I can't target very well here because the enemy is just all around us. So I'm going to drag, and it's still not letting me do it. Well, this is not my fault. This is just an interface issue. I'll be able to correct it. So I'm just pulling the 3rd Cav. Now I can lay them out, I think. There we go. So they're in a big, long shield wall. If the enemy retreats into that, it's traffic jam city, right? Here they go. They're starting to retreat, and they're going to get, look at all those horse archers. They're all going to get bundled up. A lot of them are getting bundled up on our archers, so we charge, right? When they're charging your archers, you can just tell your guys to attack. These horse archers are all bottled up. They're trying to get out of here. And we're going to inflict maximum damage to them. Look at, they're all jammed in here. Oh shit, I just took a shot. You got to be careful, of course, because they pull out their glaive and they're wicked, right? But when they're retreating like this, that's where we're going to earn our bacon in this fight. We did some major damage there. Now that they've retreated, we pull back. Right? I've got this small group of cav behind me here. There's some skirmishing over to our right. I'll refer to the side I'm looking at right now as the right, by the way, our right flank. Even right now, though, we're doing really good damage, right? They've got a clump, it looks like a clump of infantry down there and archers. But the primary thing I'm concerned about are those fucking horse archers. Fire some javelins down there. I may also take advantage of those archers. They have archers behind their infantry, but they're very static. We may fly in there. Yeah, these fucks. We may fly in here and try to cause some carnage, try to behead some insolent marksmen. Yeah, we're gonna. Fuck you. These guys trying to get some shots off. I'm just gonna drive. I'm just gonna drive my cavalry right through these guys like an angry train and just disrupt them. Look at, they're all panicking and running all over the place. And we can get some kills. All right, so their horse archers are trying to take advantage of our absence here. We're going to fly back. We're going to be kind of juggling these two major threats. When you play against Khuzait, when you fight against Khuzait, these are your two threats. Start beheading some of these fucks. Let's add some terror to this fight. Their infantry is formidable, but the real danger here is their horse archers and archers. Combined, they're lethal. So their horse archers are coming back again. We're going to prioritize these horse archers. I'm going to drag the cavalry behind me, and again, we're just looking for them to commit. We want them to commit to this back area so we can slide our third cav in a big long line. You see me lining it out. Just like that. And now those guys go into shield wall while I drag the second cav behind me. Right? And I can, at this stage, I can basically just come in here, fly in here, kill some nobles, behead some more insolent Khuzait. And look at, they're charging, they're trying to escape, and you see my third cav is right in their way. Here, let me show you a little closer. Let me zoom out. All these guys, all their horse archers are going to run into a wall. Now, some will get through, but a lot are going to get sort of stuck and stabbed on our cav as they try to escape. Right? While that's happening, they've got spears up their ass and they're being shot. Look at the death span. It's just carnage, right? The enemy's getting massacred. More guys are beheaded. It's a very good exchange for our army. Even outnumbered almost 3-to-1. I mean, we were massacring their horse archers. And we're going to be patient, right? This is going to be a long battle. You know, I may not survive the whole thing. If we don't survive, we'll probably auto-play if there's any chance of victory. At this stage, so far so good, right? We're using the Peekaboo Ridge strategy, right? I actually have episodes on the channel that are called the Peekaboo Ridge. If you want to search for more information about it, if you want to see other examples of it, I have found it to be incredibly lethal against basically all of the kingdoms if you use it correctly. That's the key point. There's a number of key rules to it. The spacing is critical. The timing is critical. The use of ammunition is critical, right? If these archers shoot 70 arrows at one enemy, it's not very effective, right? So we're going to have them on hold fire on a regular basis. You'll see me having them, and they're running around with their swords because they've been ordered by their Jarl to hold fire, right? So they got a big block out there. They got a big block of archers and infantry in like a defensive wall, and there's still about 100 horse archers. So we're going to do this again. We'll keep doing it, right? Unfortunately, the AI is not smart enough to adjust tactics. At this stage, it's a death trap for them. They're down to 96 horse archers, and again, we're going to slide in behind them. I might even just do a direct attack. Look, they're getting pounded by our archers still. And it's isolated, right? They really should be bringing their forces up like that last time, but we spooked them by attacking their archers, right? It made them get defensive. Again, they're retreating right into our cav. Look at these guys are jammed up. They're jammed up, and they're trying to retreat, and you can just behead them at your will. I mean, it's not quite that easy, but that's the idea, right? Look at the death spam again. A lot of those guys, they're held in place, right? Because horse archers, one of their main advantages is they move. Well, if you can stop them from moving, right, jam them up, make a big fucking rush hour traffic. Everybody hates rush hour, but Khuzait especially hates it. Right? They rage, and they're famous for road rage in the 13th century, right? They fucking hate rush hour. If you hold them still, very easy to shoot them off their horse. Listen, I might take advantage of their... You've heard me say it before in some of my episodes, static forces are dead forces. Their forces, their infantry and their archers are just clumped up in a huge worthless pile.
basically is like a pile of shit. Sure, they have some firepower there. Their archers will be able to shoot at us, but if it just sits there like that, well, we will ambush and destroy it. See, they may just sit there like the whole time. I might even, if they want to shoot at me, that's fine. Because this is something I learned a long time ago in ranged battles. See them firing 10,000 arrows at me? It's really bad AI. They should not be shooting right either. What they're doing, though, is they're firing their arrows into the mountain and just covering the mountainside full of arrows. Well, I'm going to bring my Battanian Fiend Champs up at some point, and they will pick up these arrows, right? When we have a ranged battle, because eventually, I imagine we're going to have a ranged battle in this fight. But we're going to use those arrows. Your guys will pick up arrows on the ground. So those spent arrows that they just fired at me, like 3 or 4 volleys, just wasted them. I don't know if they got one hit. We will pick those up, right? Now that we know that we have arrows coming, I can afford to just let loose on their horse archers here. These guys, none of these guys are making it out. There's like 30 guys, maybe one will make it out. I'm just going to sit at the back here and make sure no scout gets back to tell them how horrendous they just died. Now that one guy, he must be a lord. He's getting absolutely lit up. All right. They still have no cap support. All right, we're going to take advantage of this insolent, fucking lazy force. Here's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to use my cav in big, long lines, right, in shield walls. And they're going to be screens here. You've seen me do this before. I got to be careful with the positioning here. As soon as you come over that ridge, 10,000 arrows, right? Now, I don't want my troops getting shot en masse, right? So we're going to do this in a hurry. Excuse me. We're going to do this in a hurry. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch my second on the left and the third on the right. Right? You can see they're in long lines. And now I'm going to put my archers out. Look at all these arrows. I'm going to put my archers right here, flat on top of those arrows. Not only do these archers have range when they come over here, they'll be able to shoot down this hillside, but they're going to be able to pick up arrows, as many as they want. Right? The enemy's still firing arrows in there like crazy. Let's interrupt these fucks. I've got the 7th cav behind me. It's not that many, but I think we can push these guys back, and that'll buy our troops time. Yeah, that worked. So the 2nd and 3rd are now in place, like right in front of them, and my troops just came over the ridge. Fire at will. Right? Now I'm going to drag the 2nd cav right through these fucks. And I'm not trying to kill them all. What I want is to exactly what's happening right now. I want them moving. All their marksmen, what is it, like 300 and something fucking marksmen, a huge amount of nasty archers. All I want them doing right now is spreading out, trying to adjust to a cav charge, just like they're doing, right? Because our archers now are raining, look at them up there, they are raining death. This 3rd cav, they are strictly defensive at this stage. I just want them standing there as a big intimidating wall of cav, right? Kind of right in the face of the enemy. Now we're going to attack. 6th, 8th, 2nd, 3rd, 1st. All these divisions are attacking, and the enemy is fucking freaking out. They're trying to regroup, but we're not going to let them. At least we're not going to let a lot of these fucks. We're attacking. Cav is charging. Yeah. Fuck you. You're retreating without an arm, buddy. All right, they're getting reinforcements. All right, I can't get too cocky. I'm outnumbered badly here, so where am I going to send my troops? Right back to that same ridge. I'm also using the 3rd, again, as a screen. I literally just called the 3rd cav up. It's kind of a death mission, but I told my 3rd cavalry, I need a horse. I told my 3rd cav to go back and basically stand right in front of the enemy there and distract them. Keep their attention, right? I'm going to focus on these other horse archers while the rest of my troops retreat. Meanwhile, my archers are still, look at the arrows raining in. My archers are just laying waste to everything, to the horse archers that are retreating, to the horse archers that are coming in, to the enemy that's attacking these cav here lined up. And yes, they're still hitting their archers too, right? They're able to just fire away, partly because they have so many arrows, right? I can actually still see the arrows lying on the ground. Each guy, look, each guy's shot with like 4 arrows too. So this is still my first group in the game. I haven't even had reinforcements yet, and we've already massacred two Khuzait reinforcement lines. Ah, I wanted a shield. I thought I'd have a shield. All right, so we're gonna bring our cav lines back closer, and now we're gonna have a ranged battle, at least until our arrows run out or it's obvious I have to change tactics. We have the elevational advantage. It means there's a shield. Get out of my fucking way. Horses stand in my way sometimes. You'll see me kick horses. Not like I hate horses. They just get in your way sometimes. We're going to have a ranged battle here, though. As long as our archers have range on them, they're going to do more damage. They're going to be able to fire further distance, and I'm just going to pick off fucking troops here that are kind of jammed up on our shield wall. Look at all the arrows on the ground here, right? You see all these arrows just lying on the ground? We're going to use those, too. You can physically move your troops nearby arrows, and they'll pick them up. But they have to be close. They're not going to run like 30, 40 feet to pick up arrows. So what you can do is you can take units. You see all these arrows that I'm running across? You can just spread them out in around those arrows. You see all these? I'm just going to tell the 5th Corps to get their asses down here. They're on hold fire for the moment. And look at them pick. All those guys are picking up arrows like crazy. Now I still have one archer corps firing. I want them firing because I don't want the enemy, almost like when in a game, if someone was giving you cover fire, right? These guys they still have cover fire. Those horse archers are coming down. I still want enemy fire so that the enemy can't take advantage of the fact that we're not shooting, right? So I've got one archer corps shooting, and the other one is just gathering ammunition on hold fire, right? It's like we're reloading, loading up one of our 2 barrels of the gun. Look at all these arrows down here. So again, we're going to spread out archers down here. I'm going to get the 8th Corps in on this too. There's a handful of guys from the 8th Corps. These guys can now shoot. There's so many arrows on the ground. These guys can fire. Well, look at them all. They're down there picking them up. It looks like they're doing air squats, but of course they're picking up ammunition. And these guys, most of these guys are on their last leg for health. They probably have, it doesn't show you your troops when they're injured, but most of these guys at this stage, look at, they got 3-4 arrows in their thigh. All right, it reminds me of that line in Kingdom of Heaven, right? I once fought a battle with an arrow in my testicle for 2 days. Right? These guys are some tough motherfuckers. So this range battle is good for us, right? I don't know how many archers they have, but we have better archers, probably. And we have, like, almost unlimited ammo. They keep firing. The arrows are kind of going through the horses, but a lot of them are finding their way to the ground. Meanwhile, we are dealing serious damage to their horse archers. And some of these archers, of course, are shooting and killing their troops all the way across the battle. Look at my 8th Corps is over here like, arrows, reload, boys. So again, if you're not using this in range battles, this is a pretty critical and relatively simple tactic you can use, right? Load up on ammunition. You can take advantage of that fact. Now we're going to start getting creative here. So the 5th Corps, I'm going to wind to the south. I think we're going to try to encircle. I hate fucking static troops. There's a time for static troops, but the enemy outnumbers us. Look at how many arrows are in the shields of those cav. You wouldn't even be able to hold your shield up in real life with that many arrows in it. But, there's no gravity in this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to widen our lines here. Look at the enemies, actually, for once they're acting appropriate. They're widening their lines. They're spreading out. They're trying not to get flanked. But I still think we can flank them. So I'm moving my cav lines up in shield wall. They're basically just screens, and I'm going to make long, thin lines here with my with my archer corps. I'm just putting my cav right in their face because I want these guys basically cutting off their ability to shoot my troops as I move them up. Because what we're going to do here is we're going to try to encircle and bull rush this huge force of theirs. Right? We'll have flanking attacks. I'll probably be able to send my cav here around them, sort of circle around them and make them uncomfortable. I might even be able to make them turn their backs to us. They got a handful of horse archers back there, but I'm just not that concerned about it. So I got my 6th and 8th Corps down on the right flank with me here, and it's time to move in and kill this. 330 troops. So this is a bitch still. I've got one cav division behind him. Gotta wait for these guys to get up here. Get the fuck up here. All right, so in go the 6th, in go the 8th, in go the 1st. I'm bringing these cav behind me to attack, and now we all charge. And I got to get in here, and this has to be just a vicious, aggressive, almost suicidal attack. Yeah, we're going to take losses, but if we can really gain momentum on it, we might be able to steamroll a good couple hundred here, cut off some limbs. Look at, they're trying to spread, but they can't do it fast enough. Now I can do one little bit of stalling. I can separate this enemy force from my force by putting the 3rd cav and shield wall kind of right in their face. Look at their infantry. It looks like they're fleeing. I think they're just trying to reform here, but it's almost like the effect of fleeing. So my cav division now is kind of trapped. This fucking guy fighting Bruce Lee here. Well, it's probably going to be a Pyrrhic victory, at least for these troops, but I think we're close enough now just to attack. We're going to suffer serious losses if and when their reinforcements catch up to us. But for now, it's just a bloody attack. Although they've got this line here, they're just being very defensive. We'll try to encircle them more here. Fuck them. Look at my 6th is right up in their face. Fuck you. They got all elite infantry too. I got to be careful here. Look at all these cav I just spread out, or these archers I just spread out. Most of them are out of ammo, so I can just have these Battanian Fiend champs. There's like 30 of them just rush in for battle. Look at them foaming at the mouth. It'd be nice if they actually foamed at the mouth when they went into melee. It looks like they were just all rabid, because that's how they fight. Look at, they're just pouring in. They're like bowling over their own infantry. I mean, our troops are almost dead at this stage. I'm probably at some point going to turn around and there's going to be like no allied forces anywhere near me, right? We're just pushing this force to the absolute max. You know, eventually these guys are going to get killed, knocked down, whatever you want to call it. But as long as the enemy is sort of reforming like this, we're going to lop off as many heads as we can. Wow, they just got a huge wave of reinforcements, like right here, right? So these troops that we're pouring in here, these guys are sacrificial. I'm just not going to be able to get these guys out of this battle. But that was like 3 or 4 waves of the enemy that we fucking massacred with just our first division. I don't even know if we've gotten reinforcements yet. I may get trapped here if I'm not careful. I don't know if I can get any of my troops out of this. See, if you pull troops out of a situation like this, they're actually worse off. In some situations like this, you're better off fighting to the death with your troops than reforming. Because you saw what happened when the enemy tried to reform. If you're right up on the enemy, or if the enemy's right up on you, and that side that is close tries to retreat, well, you just get steamrolled, right? Because the enemy, you're trying to run backwards, or you're turning your back to the enemy, and you just get mowed down, right? Yeah, fuck these guys. These guys just won't leave me alone. I need a horse. So we're bringing our own reinforcement lines up, and these guys are actually doing a decent job sort of holding their own. But there's no chance they're going to be able to hold out, right? I've got there's 109 horse archers now behind me. I'm going to have some cav follow me. Maybe we can disrupt these archers a little bit. But most of those infantrymen, those brave archers, those Battanian Fiend champs in my 8th Corps, those guys are all going to get knocked unconscious. You know, there's no way they're going to be able to survive this kind of onslaught. Look how many fucking archers this is. It seems like an endless line. And more are appearing like as soon as I kill one. Let's pull back. Let's try to get a few of these troops out. Let's see what I have here. Sometimes I like to just take a moment. Try to isolate, figure out what troops I have, where they are. I've got this big train of cav. I could use these guys to screen my retreating troops, and then maybe I can beat off some of their pursuing troops. Fucking speared me right in the face. I'm telling you folks, if you're not used to using cavalry and screens like that, it's a must-learn tactic. You know, this was used throughout warfare as well. Look at now I can reorder all these troops. Where the fuck are my archers? I have 15 archers, so that's lovely. So I'm going to bring that cav corps all the way back. And what we're doing right now is just concentrating our forces. So I don't have any archers, right? So obviously I'm not pulling back to shoot at the enemy. You know, I mean, I've got these. It looks like there's 10 survivors from that first wave. So what we're going to do here is try to isolate our forces, try to get all these guys basically piled together. I want all my troops compacted so that they're fighting together, right? You don't want your troops spread out, right? Divide and conquer. Well, that also for you, that means get divided and lose, right? We want to have our forces concentrated next to each other, supporting each other. That way when we attack, they're all sort of attacking in unison. I'm probably going to end up being a one-man horse archer killing machine in these types of battles because I just don't have the enough cavalry. Right? They have way more horse archers and cavalry than we have. So I'm just going to go to work with my fast pole arm here. Like this. They're just like they're running, but they're running away sort of stalled. It's almost like they're out of sugar and they're out of energy or something like that. They need a Gatorade. Yeah, their forces pulled back very defensively. Well, thanks. That benefits us, right? So now I can bring the cavalry with me. They're not even sacrificial. I can start bringing up our lines here. I've got 158 very, very tough infantry. At this stage, we're still on some of our very early troops. And what I mean by that is the setting I'm on, I got these archers, we can move them forward. The setting I'm on basically gives me priority to spawn, right? Your reinforcements will be your highest level troops. So in this case, of course, we've only had like 300 guys or 350 on the battlefield to this stage. All of that infantry line I know are good troops. So now I'm dragging this cav division behind me, basically telling all of them to attack these horse archers, right? These horse archers are dumb enough to get kind of mixed in here. They're sort of pinched between our two cav divisions, and we're just going to cut them in half. I've got archers now attacking from both sides, and I told my infantry to attack him as well. So any guy that's sort of caught up, they have a fucking furious line breaker, right? One of those Sturgeon heroic line breakers swinging a huge axe at them. Right? That'll push those horse archers out. So I still have this huge line of infantry, and we're going to work with this, right? We're going to work with this big line. I want them up there in shield wall so they're not getting shot to pieces. We've got these archers way in the back here, these heroic motherfuckers. And I think we're going to be doing, you know, just some cavalry driving here. What I mean, you know, basically where you have your cavalry follow you, and you just ram them right through, you know, whatever units you want to attack. In this case, it's going to be their archers. It's almost like they're anticipating it here. They're freaking out. And we're just going to run right through these guys. Meanwhile, in the front, our elite infantry is just plowing their way. Right? They're hugely outnumbered, but they're having a lot of success, right? Because they're together, right? That's a big thing I said earlier. They're in unison. So now the cavalry is charging in here. The enemy is basically getting totally fucked over. They're getting rammed by cavalry from the side, and elite infantry is just plowing into their midst. I mean, this is... I wasn't sure if we was going to be able to win this fight, but now I'm sure we can win this fight. We're fucking massacring these Khuzaits. Might as well join them. I just see all green. I'm not paying that close attention because I'm doing a lot of fighting, but the death screen is like almost all green. We may just try to push this all the way through. Look at a lot of these guys are elite troops swinging two-handed axes. Kill them all, boys. I should eventually get archer reinforcements, and that'll really help. But look how thick our infantry line is here. I'm just going to keep pushing this forward. I can use my cavalry here behind me to sort of shield wall, and that'll protect a lot of my guys getting shot in the back. And then we're just going to plow forward with this fucking relentless infantry attack. I mean, we're fighting archers. Ouch. Yeah, we push in. I can't really tell who's who. The enemy has a lot of Sturgeon troops, but we're just going to keep with this infantry assault. As long as I see a decent amount of green on the screen, they're kind of pouring in cavalry behind us. I mean, we're way outnumbered in every area, but especially cavalry. And this infantry attack is going to lose steam, but I think I see reinforcements appearing over the ridge. I'm sort of slowly pulling back here. I'm fighting while I pull back because I do see an infantry line coming our way. Right? You just can't get too far ahead. Right? My reinforcements are spawning a long ways away. They're way over there. But what I can do is I can sort of fight my way back to them. These guys that are pursuing me, we can give them an axe to the face every once in a while to remind them. I've got to watch my health here, of course. Let's just catch a taxi here. I think it's time to kill some horse archers. I don't have anything to counter these horse archers, at least not enough. I don't have enough archers. What do I have? 50 fucking archers. 50 archers against, 200 horse archers. What could go wrong? It seems like I have an unfair low amount of reinforcements. Oh, another batch just poured in here. Alright, that's better. So I got 113 archers and 180 infantry. Alright, well at least we're going to have a ferocious infantry block. Now what you want to do in situations like this is you want to put your reinforcements about halfway from where your troops are fighting. You don't want to set your line that you're drawing out too close to the enemy, because then the guys that are already there, it's a complex system, but basically your troops that are currently fighting, they will start to fight with like 40 guys, you know, against 400 and get killed quickly. You want them sort of slowly retreating, but you want them retreating back to where your other reinforcements are coming in. Right? So I'm checking out my line there. It's starting to fill out. So my fourth is good as my new infantry line, right? We're going to make the best of that. It kind of makes sense with so many horse archers for me to do a square here. I've got a nice archer block. There's like 120 archers. I have almost no cavalry. I just have no counter except my own ferocious pole arm against this 200 fucking horse archers. Except, I would say, cut a few heads off. What I can do is I can use these archers and spread and protect my infantry with either a line form or a square, and then of course I can do plenty of damage myself. Yeah, let's try this. Infantry in a square. See, the enemy has a lot of archers on the other side, too. And this is why Khuzait is nasty. Because they're pounding our archers, or pounding our infantry. Well, they're pounding our archers, too. But especially our infantry is getting hit by archers on both sides, right? It's really three sides because their horse archers are sort of circling this. So now that infantry block is in a huge, big square. And, of course, most of the shield guys will be on the outside. So the guys that are shock troops, you know, they'll be protected. Somewhat protected, at least in the middle of that square. And my archers can, you know, they can do plenty of good shooting on these horse archers. They're kind of isolated. In fact, that's what their target is, these archers, is to shoot the enemy horse archers. This is a really good setup for us here. As long as the enemy is not smart enough to attack in unison, right? Their infantry and archers should be spreading out, attacking. You know, a lot more dynamic attack, a dynamic approach than this. As long as they're doing that, we're going to take advantage. Yeah, I mean, now it's a question not of how bad we're gonna, or if we're gonna win this fight, but how badly, right? This has been a massacre. So now the enemy's on one side. We'll spread them out into a big line, right? We'll have all their shields facing in the same direction, because pretty soon here it's gonna be time for another punishing infantry assault, where we just send our guys forward, foaming at the mouth. I mean, we're still outnumbered, but I think if we approach this right, we may even be able to make the enemy's morale break here. Again, I have no fucking cavalry. I don't know. I don't remember entering battle with like six horses, but maybe we just didn't have any before the battle started. I'm gonna spread this line of infantry out. Now you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna drag both of these. I'm gonna drag this infantry and these archers both directly at their mass here of troops. You can use follow in this situation, or you can physically point and tell them to come over here. But what I want is I want this infantry and archers in a suicide attack on this big mass of troops. The enemy's all bottled up here. I just want them completely coming in here kamikaze style. We've got 250 troops. Most of them are fresh. There's a wall of infantry at the front. I'm at the back here just beheading guys. And I just want my guys going crazy, busting through this. I might even join them on foot here. Right now I'm staying on horse because I want to watch the reinforcements, but it makes sense for me also to join on foot. And also these fucking horse archers. And I got another archer reinforcement wave. What do I have coming in here? I've got another batch of archers, it looks like. Alright, so the first corps is also archers. Let's stretch them out in a big long line. Fucking one-man army against horse archers. So I've got archers kind of spread. Some of that last group of infantry that I sent in there is still sort of in a suicide charge. I gotta watch out. One of these guys spears me, I'll be on my back. They just got a huge wave of reinforcements. I'm just gonna barrel through here, Conan the Barbarian style. Fuck it. There we go. I just got reinforcements. All right, big long line of infantry, big long line of archers. 2 lines of infantry. All right, finally we can do some tactics here. So now I can bring archers in a big long line. You don't want to set your reinforcements to move too far, right? In this case, they're archers. I don't actually want them running across the whole map before they start shooting. I prefer these guys were shooting and picking targets early on here. And that's because, of course, they're being attacked. These guys are being shot almost immediately by enemy horse archers. They still have, 206 horse archers. So I'm just setting the archers up kind of close to where they came in. That's because as soon as those guys get into position, they will start shooting. And that's vital in this case. This is sort of middle tier horse archer stuff. If my archers can get positioned and just start shooting, they're going to be able to shoot a lot of these horse archers off their horse. Yeah, the screen is, there's lots of green. We're definitely winning this battle. Now I can have my infantry divisions attacking and collapsing on the enemy, right? The enemy's approaching my infantry divisions, I can just have them attacking. Time to join them. These guys need savage axe. Let's send these guys home packing. Let's just fucking wade in here, fuck it. No reforming for you fucks. I'm gonna send my troops physically into their midst. When they're reforming / retreating like this, send your fucking troops like right into their face, right? You don't want them gaining any distance. So now they've formed a nice defensive line, so are we. I'm moving my infantry forward to shield wall. My archers are spread. But I think once we limit this horse archers that are shooting at us, say this is a lot of horse archers, I can't get aggressive and attack until I whittle down some of these horse archers. There's just way too many. But I think once we kill about half these guys, it's going to be time to finish off the rest of this infantry, this infantry and archers at the Khuzait. Again, they're being very static. They're just formed up like in a big mass. And I think we'll be able to surround and destroy that force. So we'll move our infantry up, archers on the flank. I think the enemy's close to breaking at this stage though too. The more you play Bannerlord, you will start to actually feel like when the enemy senses blood. You'll know situations in battles where you know you've lost just by how the enemy is acting. The same goes for when you're winning. Earlier in the fight, we were back on our heels. The enemy was attacking us. Their troops were coming in aggressive. They were setting the tempo almost. It's like a boxer. Now it's the opposite. They're in this big jumbled trembling mass of fucking losers. They're like terrified. Look at these fucking scared pussies back here. They're gonna shoot their bow behind 15 other guys. No, you guys get your head cut off. All right, so when the enemy's acting like this, you should be like a dog that smells fear. In you go. No fear. What you're basically trying to do is push them all the way into the fear zone. So I'm going to call again my troops to follow me. I want these guys coming right at me, just charging in, foaming at the foaming at the mouth, right? And now we join, right? We're going to make sure these guys can't rout. We're going to make sure they can't spread out like that and can't rout. So the archers are falling back one more time, but this infantry is in full-out reform mode, right? They're not aggressive at all. Our infantry is right on them. Oh, now I have horse archers and cav. All right, so now we can do some other things. I'm going to use one cav division as a screen to block their archers, and we're going to move in again on angles on this troop, on this force of Khuzait, and close in on them again. If they want to sit in a tight mass like that, we're just going to keep surrounding them, flanking them, and annihilating them. So I've got this wall of cav here, providing a shield while my archers move up. Now, these cav could take out these guys. They sort of trap themselves here. Their horse archers literally ran right into my falling back cav. A lot of their troops look like they're routing. They're running way further back than you would run if you were just reforming. We might have finally broken the enemy morale here. Let's have horse archers attack their horse archers. We'll drag this 3rd Cav division. We'll keep moving up that huge archer block. We're gonna make sure I don't take a spear to the face here. Ignominious death. And we're gonna pour in. Fucks. Those are my horse archers. For once, we have horse archers. So I want to keep my troops concentrated here in case the enemy does turn. If the enemy does turn with their 600-something troops, you know, I've got to be concentrated. You can get caught off balance in a fight like this, but this looks like a rout. Not making it home, buddy. We'll encourage a rout here with a few more kills. There we go. Wow, this is one of those battles. You know, I entered pretty confident that we couldn't win, but sometimes a combination of persevering tactics, a good battle plan, and you know, you can pull off these kind of fights, right? We were outnumbered almost 3-1 by the Khuzait, fighting in the open field. And we lost a couple critical family members here. Both of those were like level 50. We're really starting to suffer losses, battlefield losses. For those curious, I run a mod that increases the amount of death that occurs for nobles. Now it's happening to the enemy too, but we're starting to lose critical family members. Anyways, you know, 450 kills, amplified a little bit by the reduced damage, right? Of course, but you know, again, when you're fighting 5,500 troops in an hour-long battle, I think it's just fine. Anybody who wants to complain, that's fine. You can leave your comments, but I'm not gonna pay too much attention to them. Hopefully, this is a good example for folks fighting against the Khuzait. You know, we're demonstrating several different tactics here that are beneficial against the Khuzait. You know, cutting off their retreats is a critical part of it. You want to turn horse archers into static horse archers, because if they can't move, they're dead, right? The other tactic that we used there that was very effective was surround and drown. There's all kinds of sort of micro tactics, if you want to call them that. The cap screens, you know, using our peekaboo ridge there. Yeah, I'll take these free troops. Look at 2,300 prisoners. You know, there's a bunch of smaller tactics that are all part of a successful battle like that. And you can think of it like chess, folks. If you're playing an opponent who has 6 opening moves, and you have 40, right, that you're highly experienced in, well, not only do you know how to counter those 6 opening moves that your opponent has, but you're also able to do things that the enemy has no understanding of and no expectation of how to defend it, right? The more tactical tools that you have in your tactical tool bag, so to speak, the more likely you are to win battles like this. And that goes for fighting human opponents as well. If there's a stage where this eventually goes against human AI, I imagine this channel and other tactical channels will be very popular. So thanks again for watching. Please leave comments if you're interested in more of this kind of stuff, or if you have questions. I appreciate all you subscribers, and I'll talk to you friends next time.